What is a legal entity? A legal entity is a temporal, earthly entity. A person is a legal entity by virtue of being born in America. He is recognized by the law of man. He can be charged with a crime if he commits a crime, and even sometimes if he doesn't, he can be wrongly charged. He can sue and be sued. He can act legally by entering into contracts, buying property, and so forth. Civil government has jurisdiction over him in certain circumstances. If a person is lost, he is a legal entity only. An earthly government can assume jurisdiction over his temporal, earthly life. An earthly government cannot assume jurisdiction over his spiritual, eternal, heavenly life, if he has one. That would apply to believers. Matthew 10:28 says, "And fear not them which can kill the body, but are not able to kill the soul, but rather fear him which is able to destroy both soul and body in hell." There are also legal entities which are created by the laws of man. These entities are made up of organizations of persons. Included are tax-exempt organizations and churches, associations, corporations to include non-profit corporate churches, partnerships, proprietorships, businesses, charitable trust, and other kinds of trust, but not simple trust, as we will develop in other lessons coming later. These type organizations are subject to the agreements made when they organized under man's law. Their sovereign is the civil government. Man-made legal entities are called artificial persons. They are creatures of the state. They can be charged with crime, sue, be sued, assume legal, temporal, earthly obligations, and act legally by entering into contracts, buying property, opening bank accounts, hiring employees, running businesses like schools and cafes and daycare centers and so forth. Churches in America can choose to remain spiritual entities only or to become legal entities also. Churches who choose to become legal entities place themselves for many purposes under the jurisdiction of man's law. All legal entities other than individuals and sole proprietorship businesses are created by or recognized by man-made civil government law. Sole proprietorships are recognized as legal entities by American law. Sole proprietorships are not created by man's law, but are recognized and controlled by man's law, since they are businesses with income. They must, for example, get an assumed name, file income tax return, get an employer identification number, pay income taxes on profits and Social Security taxes on employees, register with the state sales tax office, and pay sales taxes, and so forth. Now, of course, I'm aware of the tax protest movement. I'm aware that some people do not file income tax returns, and so forth. But that's subject to risk, and we know that. Don't have time to go into that. Now, a simple trust established to manage money and property for the benefit of a beneficiary is not a legal entity. Other types of trust, which are either established according to man's law or which have income, are legal entities. Old Path Baptist Church, as we will see, is not a legal entity. When we get to that, we'll get into the study of the kind of trust that Old Path Baptist Church utilizes. It's not a legal entity. God bless you as you continue to grow in the knowledge of our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ.